Welcome back, everybody. My name is Via Gloss. Today we're playing Someone Special by Anders R. Matson. Please play in full screen. Someone Special is an interactive fiction piece. With the help of his neighbors, Emmett the Mouse is looking for somebody special. There are over 10 unique endings based on your choices over the course of a few days. Try and find all the endings. Special thanks to Emmett Rhodes for inspiration. Cole Bucciaglia? 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 I'm not. Sorry. For feedback, and my friends who playtested. Again, not the best with names. So this one was released 3 days ago. It's a Twine game, so just thought, hey, I don't think this doesn't say anything about horror, so this is going to be a little different in that regard. But that's the fun of life, isn't it? That we just do different stuff now and then. So here we are. I don't hear any sound. I'm guessing there's none. Staring at his wooden ceiling, Emmett the Mouse decides that today is the day to find somebody special. He rolls off his mushroom bed, carefully makes it with his paper blankets, pulls on his corduroy overalls, then leaves the half-sunken little library he calls home. Atop his moss doormat, Emmett can see the sun just barely peeking over the tree line. Pondering, Emmett wonders which of his forest neighbors would be the best help at finding someone special. Which neighbor should Emmett visit first? Visit Margaret Snail on her rock down the road? Visit Paisley the red panda across the bog? Climb up the redwood tree and visit Grenwall the owl? So, I already like this. It kind of reminds me of, I read Stuart Little when I was a kid. And I was always kind of fascinated with those, like, how someone small would take things from people and build a house. I don't know why. I just always liked that kind of stuff. Anyway, let's visit Grenwall the owl. My daughter's favorite animal right now is owls, so that only makes sense. Emmett hears the cute hoots of Grenwall's owlets. Pausing here for a moment, sorry to interrupt, but actually the day after I played this game, I came across this in my yard, and just kind of a weird situation. Whatever magic you're doing, please stop. Don't affect my life for real. I don't know what I did to enwrath your magic, but stop it. And anyway, we'll get back into it, but just so everyone knows, it's perfectly fine, and it all worked out. But just thought this was a weird coincidence. So anyway, let's get back into it. As his front feet reach Grenwall's nest at the top of the redwood tree, Grenwall's brown feathers bounce around as he plays tag with his kids. As Emmett climbs up all the way, Grenwall's head spins around to face Emmett. Grenwall hoots in his direction, then speaks with his husky owl voice. Emmett, I thought I heard you climbing up my tree. What brings you to my nest on this wonderful day? Emmett tells Grenwall he's going to find someone special today and was wondering if he could help. Grenwall hoots. Though we owls are known for our eyes and vision, I'm not sure how I could help you find someone special. Besides, I'm taking the little ones out flying today, and I need to find them some worms before it gets dark. How does Emmett respond? What if I helped? Well, thanks for nothing. Enjoy the worms, Grenwall. You know what? Let's help out. Grenwall lets out a small chucking hoot from his beak. Sorry I'm laughing, but you are the first mouse I have met that's willing to help an owl. Perhaps helpfulness is the nature of a mouse. Grenwall's owlets hoot and bounce around him. I know. I know you're ready to fly, but I'm talking to my friend Emmett. The word friend excited Emmett, making him even more eager to help out Grenwall. He wonders if Paisley and Grenwall could be friends too. How about this? I go take the little ones out flying, and you go get worms for our supper. We could all eat them together. I know the owlets will love the company, since, well. And Grenwall's face turns solemn for a moment as he looks off towards the sky, then looks back at Emmett with warmth. Yes, you go get the worms, then come back here. I usually find some around the bog in the wetter mud. Do this, and then we'll have supper. Emmett nods, then scurries off the nest and down the redwood tree. The soft hoots of the owlets bring him determination. Okay. As Emmett scurries down the tree, he wonders if Grenwall would help him find someone special with his ability to fly. He also daydreams of flying into the night sky with Grenwall and a special someone. Soon, Emmett thinks to himself, soon I will know someone special. Emmett finds a handful of worms burrowed in the soaked mud near the bog. Emmett is happy that, unlike other bugs, the worms are known for nothing at all except for eating and being eaten. It's nice that's a nice detail to put in there. The flapping of wings can be heard as Emmett tugs 3 worms out of the mud and into his mouth. A crow with long wings lands a few feet away from Emmett. It's nothing to do with the story, everything to do with me. Don't worry. Its round, piercing black eyes look down at the worms hanging in Emmett's mouth. Now that looks like a feast, if you ask me. What's a mouse going to do with so many worms? Maybe I could take them from your mouth, and you could go find some cheese instead. The crow takes a few steps forward, then points its beak at Emmett. Emmett gives the worms up. Emmett lowers his head, then walks slowly over to the crow. Emmett drops the worms at the feet of the crow, then backs away. That's right, now that's a good little mouse. Now run off before I have you as my dessert. Can I just say, crows are my favorite bird, and I'm feeling I just came here to read a nice story, and I'm feeling so attacked right now. Emmett scurries away from the crow and the bog towards the redwood tree. The slimy sound of the crow slurping down the worms makes Emmett dizzy. He knows the only thing he can do now is return to Grenwall, but he worries that his new friend might not want to help him anymore. Though owls are known for their sight, Emmett wonders if he could possibly lie and tell Grenwall that there were no worms near the bog. Though he knows this might end their friendship, Emmett begins his journey back up the tree, wormless. You know, there's no reason to not be truthful right now. Grenwall and the owlets are hooting and panting when Emmett reaches the nest. Emmett, it's good to see you again. You missed a good day of flying. He laughs between his hooting and sighing, but as Emmett nears him, he notices the worms are not in his mouth. Grenwall cocks his head in curiosity. Oh, Emmett, were you not able to find any worms? Emmett explains to Grenwall what happened and apologizes for not getting the worms. A crow? On this side of the forest? Honestly, I'm happier you told the truth. And now I know that I need to watch out for it, especially to protect the little ones. Grenwall hops over to Emmett, lifting his wings out. At first this scares Emmett, but Grenwall's warm and fuzzy feathers comfort him as they wrap around his small mouse body. You must have been so afraid of being all alone down there, but that was very brave of you for telling the truth. You probably saved my little ones, and I can see why you're looking for someone special. Grenwall lets go and stares deeply into Emmett's eyes, small pools of water filling his eyes. I had someone special, as you know. Though I have the owlets to remind me of her, I know that I still miss having someone special to call my own. Grenwall puts out his foot. Shake feet with me, Emmett, and I promise that I will keep my eyes open for someone special, someone as special as you deserve. Emmett shakes feet with Grenwall and is filled with purpose once more. Now I have to go and take the kids out one more time and find us some grub. Maybe you should head off to bed since it's getting late. Emmett nods, then scurries back down the tree towards home. Emmett is filled with a stronger sense of confidence in finding someone special. Now, as he looks at his favorite pictures in his home, he knows that he'll be able to show them to someone special. I said an O there. With the help of Grenwall's eyes and Paisley's compliments. Emmett lays down on his mushroom bed and falls asleep knowing that tomorrow will be the day he finds someone special. The next day, Emmett wakes up with even more confidence. He declares that today will truly be the day he finds somebody special. He rolls off his mushroom bed, cleanly makes it, then puts on his corduroy overalls. Once again, he stands atop his moss doormat and notices the sun is already halfway up the sky. He guesses that he slept in a little later than yesterday. Emmett wonders which neighbor he should visit today to see if they will help him find someone special. Well, let's visit the snail. Why not? Emmett hops along the cobblestone road towards Margaret Snail's rock. He is too small to walk across each individual stone, so instead he goes on all fours so he can get a running jump across each one. Emmett wipes sweat onto his overalls, due to the day starting to warm up. He wonders if his special someone will like to hop across rocks as much as he does. Emmett sees the rose bush on his left side, which he knows is right before Margaret's rock. Margaret's lavender-colored shell easily catches Emmett's eye atop her moss-covered rock. Emmett shouts Margaret's name before he reaches her since she gets easily frightened, and her vision isn't as good as it used to be. At her call, Margaret's body slowly turns towards him, but as Emmett reaches her, he notices her body is dripping in sweat. Margaret begins to speak slowly as Emmett climbs up the rock and sits next to her. Emmett, I thought that was you coming towards my rock. What is the occasion? What does Emmett say to Margaret? Oh, we only got one choice. Margaret's eyes fill with tears of joy. Oh, Emmett, you're such a kind mouse. Margaret lowers her right eye and points it towards the rose bush. Those rose leaves are extra sturdy and should not blow away like the ones I had before. Could you venture into the rose bush and pluck some for me? I'm sure my memory will be better after I get some time to cool off. Emmett nods his head, then scurries off Margaret Snail's mossy rock, back onto the cobblestone road. At the entrance of the rose bush, Emmett can hear the low buzz of bees flying around the roses. Though Emmett is afraid of bees, he's reminded of his special someone, and that Margaret might be the key to finding them. With a deep breath, Emmett enters the rose bush. Emmett walks carefully over, under, and across the rose stems. Some of the thorns remind him of evil forest critter teeth. Emmett wonders if his special person will have playful teeth or more ferocious ones. Emmett reaches a branch with only a few thorns, with a plethora of leaves at the very top near the flower. Using the thorns as supports, he climbs up and up the branch until he is in reach of the leaves. But as he reaches out, a black bumblebee flies over to him and sits on his front foot. Emmett screams, making the bumblebee scared. But right before it can sting him, Emmett asks it to wait. Wait? What do you mean wait, kid? I'm a bumblebee. I only got 2 weeks to live. Do I look like the waiting type? I guess I'm just giving the, East Coast accent there, I guess. Emmett covers his face with his feet and tries to explain that he's helping his friend Margaret Snail. Margaret Snail, eh? She the one on the moss rock always thinking and whatnot? Emmett says yes, and reveals that she is in need of the leaves to stay cool and help him find someone special. Oh, I hear you loud and clear, Mr. Mouse. I got someone special too, a certain queen bee, if you catch my drift. The bumblebee puts a small piece of leaf out of his hair and puts it in Emmett's face. Besides a few dried drips of honey sitting on the surface, Emmett can't really make out the drawing. Yeah, that's her. She's really special. We've been together for a couple of days now. She keeps telling me to take it slow, but as I said, we beeves, we live fast. The black bumblebee flies up above Emmett. You seem all right, kid. I'll look the other way this time. Go get those leaves to Margaret Snail and then get that special someone. The black bumblebee flies up and continues pollinating the rose, ignoring Emmett. Emmett is pretty thrown off by the entire situation and grabs the leaves quick before climbing back down the branch. And then, so, real quick, some of these, like this one seems a little weird just because the way in which the story advances with these seems to be a little different each time. The link this time just says head back to Margaret Snail's Rock. I feel like this should be like Emmett headed back to Margaret Snail's Rock, just because it's more consistent with the other. See how like this one is Emmett wakes up the next morning at his home. Just it makes more sense for there to be a consistency with that. That just thought I'd throw that out there. Margaret Snail's eyes glow in the sun as Emmett approaches with leaves in his mouth. Emmett drops them next to her, and as he is about to tell her about the weird interaction with the bumblebee, she interrupts him with a hug, or as best a snail can hug. Thank you, Emmett. I knew you would help me. You always seemed like a really nice mouse. Emmett puts the sleeves around and into the top of Margaret Snail's shell, so they hang over her head like a hat. Wow, I already feel cooler. Maybe you'll be as cool as me when you're my age. Margaret lets out a cute old snail chuckle. That's like a thing I say. Oof. Emmett asks her if she can think about someone special and made to be with him. I'll spend the rest of the day doing what a snail does best, thinking. I'll think about the other mice I know, and I'll let you know when I think up the one who is looking for someone special like you, too. Emmett thanks Margaret, gives her a hug, and then leaves the rock. The sun has begun to set, and Emmett decides to head back home. Emmett wakes up the next morning at his home. Before his eyes open all the way, Emmett has already darted out of his home toward the redwood tree. Emmett knows Margaret will think of someone special since she's the master thinker. All he needs to do now is head over to her with Grenwall, and he's sure they will go meet someone special. Emmett scuttles up Grenwall's redwood as if his special someone is at the top. His heart beats faster and faster as the sun gets dimmer and dimmer. As Emmett's front foot meets Grenwall's nest, Grenwall shouts in terror, "Who's there? What do you want from us?" Emmett is taken aback by the usual cheerful Grenwall being so aggressive, but he's more as surprised at seeing Grenwall huddled at the back of his nest with his owlets, with his eyes coated in dried blood and a massive scar. Emmett calmly calls back to Grenwall, explaining that it is him, and he doesn't have to be afraid. Grenwall lets out a sigh, which juxtaposed by a deep groan of pain and sadness. The crow, Emmett. The crow came in the night and tried to take one of the little ones. I stopped him, but he scraped my eyes pretty bad. I can't see, Emmett, I can't see, and I'm so scared for the little ones. What's an owl without their eyes? Grenwall's babies cuddle up around him. Here, up until this point, I was thinking, this would be a cute story to read to my daughter pretty soon. She gets a little older, but maybe not. Emmett asks, "Is there something I could do to help you, Grenwall?" After Emmett speaks, he hugs Grenwall. "Oh, such a sweet little mouse, but there are few remedies in the world to help an owl get back their sight. My only hope is for my owlets to be strong enough soon to hunt for me." The word hunt gives Emmett an idea. He asks Grenwall if he could go and get him and his owlets some food. Well, that might be helpful. At least it will feed the little ones tonight. The owlets jump around Emmett with excitement and hunger in their eyes. "Go down near the bog. There should be some worms there that you could bring up to us, but be careful, the crow is still out there." Emmett nods, then dashes off the nest and down the tree. He thinks that maybe, just maybe, this might help him feel better after the past few days. Emmett reaches the wet mud near the bog, plucks 3 worms from the dirt, then starts his ascent back up the tree. Emmett climbs up the tree as if he's racing time itself. He reaches the halfway point and plunges his feet into the bark as a gust of wind nearly pulls him off. He grips the worms tight in his mouth, and as the wind recedes, he hears the sound of flapping wings. A crow, with only one of his feet and madness in his eyes, plunges towards Emmett. It cackles and yells as it flies towards him. A feast I see, and a feast I shall eat. Emmett takes a deep breath and begins to climb up faster, but dangerously. The crow barely misses him, hitting the bark and cawing in anger. Though Emmett is able to move fast, he is not as fast as the crow following him up the tree. Try to run, try to hide, you can't escape me. Emmett pants and continues moving, occasionally swerving left or right around the tree to avoid the crow. As he nears the top, he swerves right to avoid the crow, but feels the crow's long claw plunge into his shoulder. There you are. Emmett feels his fur rip as the crow flies back up with a piece of his shoulder. That will not do. I want all of you. Emmett is having a harder time seeing. His eyes begin to close as the crow is about to reach him once more. As the claws nearly reach him, he hears tiny boots. What? Get off me, you little brats. The owlets bombard the crow, clawing and biting at him. He tries to bite them, but his exhausted body is now too slow. The crow tries once more, but is too weak and plummets to the ground. Emmett hangs on the tree, dizzy and in immense pain. The owlets lift him up, flying him to the nest. They lay him near his father, who licks Emmett's wound. Hang in there, Emmett. You'll be okay. Just hold on. Emmett struggles to speak. The sting in his shoulder is too much to bear. He tells Grenwall how he regrets not seeing Paisley, the red panda. He tells him about the black bumblebee and how badly he wanted to help him learn to color, but most of all how he wished to meet his special person that Margaret knew. Emmett thanks Grenwall for letting the last time he does. Emmett thanks Grenwall for letting the last thing he does be helping his friend. Emmett looks into Grenwall's eyes and tells him that it's finally time to meet someone special. Emmett, stay awake. Emmett's eyes close. Emmett the Special. Grenwall, with the help of his owlets, Margaret, and the black bumblebee bury Emmett beside his home. Grenwall shares with his owlets that Emmett will forever be known as the bravest mouse in all the forest. Margaret mourns him, and the bumblebee leaves a drawing of Emmett near his burial site. Perhaps this is what a mouse should be remembered for, living like all of us do with regrets and what could have been, but most of all, giving up everything for those in need. Emmett will forever be known as Emmett the Special across the forest. Okay. So, maybe not the best of endings. So 10 endings is very interesting. Such an interesting tone, I would say, to this game. I was kind of expecting it to, it starts off as so, like I said, it was like a story I was thinking like, wow, I could read this for my daughter. She might like this. But then it kind of, took a tonal shift a little bit and turned into like a dark children's story from the, a children's movie from the 80s where they were just like, yeah, let's just put this nightmare fuel in there. Why not? But it's definitely, I kind of, don't normally play this kind of game. I'm usually playing a horror game. But I found, this was like, it felt very whimsical. And as an adult reading it, it's like, yeah, this is like, a cool fantasy story. It's definitely more of a young adult story, but, I like it. It's fun. And, it's like you get to the end and you're immediately like, all right, let's go. Let's do it again. So very cool. And, it looks good. I mean, it's simple, but it looks nice enough. It's like well written and just well structured. There's no point where I'm just like, oh my God, I got to get through this. It's, right amount of details. The paragraphs are just the right length and it flows pretty nicely. Um, you know, Very cool. And it's just something completely different, honestly. I have to say I've like not really seen a Twine game like this. Um, I haven't seen a sort of take on like a children's story almost. I want to say almost because it's not quite there as a children's story, but it feels kind of like that. And that's very cool. Like I said, it reminds me of, reading Stuart Little when I was a kid a little bit. Or, like the Church Mice books. If you ever read that, it kind of reminds me of that a little bit. And, just kind of cool. I like it. And, I'm going to try and get a nicer ending, I think, for myself. Um, but Anders R. Matson. This is the only game by Anders R. Matson. Okay, well, Anders R. Matson, keep it up. Let's see some more. I'm excited. It's cool. Maybe do a different. I think it needs more of a storybook kind of cover, because I see someone special in this picture, and I'm thinking like, it doesn't capture the tone of the story very much. So, if you know somebody who can doodle like a mouse and a red panda or something, or a mouse contemplating a forest, or just maybe like Emmett the mouse in his corduroy pants next to his like mushroom bed in just like a black and white line drawing would look really cool, and it would help people understand what kind of thing they're getting into. So, anyway, 10 endings, everybody. So if you liked this story, go check it out. Link will be in the description. Give it a try, see what ending you get. 10 unique endings. And, let's check it out. I'm going to, play and get another ending here, but, give it a try and see what you are. So, anyway, my name is Fia Gloss. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good night, everybody.